Alright. Serana? What do you say we go, seduce a moth priest, shall we? I expect we're going to run into one of the possible glitches that you can encounter during this. Don't worry, I have the solutions right here ready to go, just in case. So, when you do this as a vampire instead of as a member of the Dawnguard, you'll notice that the huskies that the Dawnguard have are already here. You'll also notice that several of the Dawnguard are already here. Sorry, boy. Don't want to. Kind of leave me no choice. Alright, let's actually swap. Let's use Shadowmoor. I don't know why, but having the way Armageddon looks just kind of... It gets me concerned that, oh no, what if, you know... They have a troll. It's not a cave troll, but it is a troll. Oh no, they have crossbows. Remember, that's supposed to be one of the cool things you get for joining the Dawnguard. And I recall thinking, you know what? I don't even bother using these.
Those vampires put up a hell of...
What was that?
Your life ends here.
They put up a what? Oh!
Do you need something?
Yeah, I need a moment to try and come up with a funny one-liner. Although I think I may have to just resort to a not-so-great one. Looks like he lost his head. Yeah, I know, it's terrible. Sarah just looked at me like, really? Alright. Alright, let's quick save. Here we go, guys.
Where'd you come from? No! That'll teach you.
Oh, it worked.
By the divines, it's as if my eyes have been opened. I am blinded by the light of your majesty. I must obey you. What would you have of me, master?
So before we continue, I just want to let you guys know about some of the possible issues that can run into that. Sometimes you can have a vampire mod installed, and it may not have you have the ability of vampire seduction, which, as you saw, it literally requires you to do that step in order to progress. Actually use that ability in order to be able to actually, you know, do that, so you can be able to feed in order to turn to your thrall, which is your servant, in order to be able to progress. Now, if you're on PC, fortunately, console commands are able to be here to help you out, such as, it's possible he may not respond, in which case you can use the console command to advance the next stage of the quest, which is the to skip the feed on the thrall part after defeating him. It also may glitch where he is to be thralled, but feeding would be impossible, in which case you do the set stage in order to advance. And here's another one. Here's a funny one. If the Dragonborn is a high enough level, the Moth Priest may resist all attempts at vampire seduction. This actually happened to me on one occasion, And it's because he's leveled his resistance to illusion spells higher than what the spell can overcome. So in order to fix this, you simply use the console command set av magic resist 1. You basically reduce his resistance down to just 1, and then the ability will actually work. And it was like, oh, and I thought we may encounter this issue because, remember, I'm level 81. So I thought he was going to be leveled up enough to resist that, but apparently not so much, so it's fine.
Certainly. Where can I find this castle?
Off the northern coast of Skyrim, due west of Solitude.
I will set out at once, then.
Really, Serana? Alright. So now we're going to run to an interesting issue here. Now, I thought maybe you would be forced to have to go do the main story in order to do this, but it turns out you don't. I'll explain why in a moment when we get to that step here. But this is where I may end up doing some stuff off camera because, well, it's not exactly relevant to the actual Dawnguard DLC story. It's just simply that extra step we have to do, which the game would assume you've already done the main story by now, so you wouldn't have had to do that. But if you haven't and you just go straight here, that ends up being the case. Well, hello! The entire court is here. How wonderful!
Well done. Somehow I knew it would be you who found our moth priest.
Where have you been, Vingalmo?
I have made the Moth Priest my thrall.
Yes, I see that. I trust his capture was not too difficult a task.
The Dawnguard tried to stop me, but they posed no threat.
I wish I could have been there to hear the sounds of their screams. Well, your thrall awaits, and we have given him the Elder Scroll. Command him to read it, and let us hear the words of prophecy together.
Master, I have done as you asked and traveled here.
I have a new task for you, thrall.
Of course. What is it that you need me to do?
You must read an Elder Scroll.
Ah, yes, the Elder Scroll. I admit, I am looking forward to this.
Then you may begin your reading.
Of course, Master. Now, if everyone will please be quiet, I must concentrate. I see a vision before me. An image of a great bow. I know this weapon. It is Oriel's bow. Now a voice whispers, saying, among the night's children, a dread lord will rise. In an age of strife, when dragons return to the realm of men, darkness will mingle with light, and the night and the day will be as one. The voice fades and the words begin to shimmer and distort. But wait, there is more here. The secret of the bow's power is written elsewhere. I think there is more to the prophecy, recorded in other scrolls. Yes, I see them now. One contains the ancient secrets of the dragons, and the other speaks of the potency of ancient blood. My vision darkens, and I see no more. To know the complete prophecy, we must have the other two scrolls.
I didn't even think you knew what a book was, my British friend. You do well to watch that tongue, elf. And you do
That
well to be
was
more careful of who
not
you
as
engage
useful
in
as I
banter.
would have liked. Even so, you did well.
Do you know where the other scrolls are?
My traitor wife stole one of them away and then disappeared. As for the other, The last that I heard, it was lost in the bowels of a Dwemer ruin. It seems our work is not yet done. But I have waited this long, and we are so very close now. I can wait a bit longer.
The one that he is referring to in the Dwemer Ruin is, of course, the one that we go and get in order to, that PapaNeeks tells us to go get in order to be able to find a way to defeat Alduin, the Elder Scroll Dragon. That's the one you get in the main story in order to defeat Alduin. So, yeah, we would have to... so, I thought maybe we were going to have to go do the main story. Turns out you don't have to do the main story at all in order to do this. You can just simply... Because it's going to tell us to go talk to Serana now. She's going to talk about where her mother is and the other Blood Elder Scroll. However, she's also going to, I think, say, if we go to, say, the Arcanum at the college, we may be able to find out information on where this Elder Scroll is.
Do you have a moment to talk?
Sure. What's on your mind?
That moth priest, Dexian. He said we needed 2 other Elder Scrolls. I think I know where we can start looking.
Why didn't you say something earlier?
Didn't want that lot getting wind of it. Especially my father.
Does Harkon even care about you anymore?
You know, I've asked myself the same thing. I hoped that if he saw me, he might feel something again. But I guess I don't really factor in at this point. I don't even think he sees me as his daughter anymore. I'm just... a means to an end.
Oh, you have no idea, Serana. So where is this Elder Scroll?
We need to find my mother, Valerica. She'll definitely know where it is. And if we're lucky, she actually has it herself.
You said you didn't know where she went.
The last time I saw her, she said that she'd go somewhere safe. Somewhere that my father would never search. Other than that, she wouldn't tell me anything. But the way she said it, someplace he would never search. It was cryptic, yet she called attention to it.
Sounds like she was being cautious.
Maybe. What I can't figure out is why she said it that way. Besides, I can't imagine a single place my father would avoid looking. And he's had all this time, too. Any ideas?
Here in the castle.
Wait, that almost makes sense. I used to help my mother tend a garden in the courtyard here. All of the ingredients for our potions came from there. She used to say that my father couldn't stand the place. Too peaceful.
Isn't that risky, staying around the castle?
Oh, absolutely. But my mother's not a coward. That is, I don't think we'll actually trip over her there, but it's worth a look.
How can we get in without your father noticing?
Trust me, I lived here a very long time and I know every nook and cranny. There's an unused inlet on the northern side of the island that was used by the previous owners to bring supplies into the castle. An old escape tunnel from the castle exits there. I think that's our way in.
Let's go to the castle's entrance.
Come on, it's just around the side.
So yeah, I saw the little tip there. It says, I've been told to ask at the College of Winterhold. So it's basically the same way as you do it in Dawnguard. You basically make your way around this way, fight these things on the way inside, get inside, sneak your way to the courtyard. It's basically the exact same thing. And that's part of one of my gripes with doing this, the 2 different ways, is that a chunk of it is not very different from the other. And I don't want, and I like it when things are different enough that it actually feels as if doing 2 different choices actually feels different. Like, I don't like it when the differences are very, very small and minor. If I'm going to side with one side over the other, I want each side to feel quite different from the other in terms of what they offer when it comes to the experience, what you get out of it. Like with Dawnguard, by the time we finish it with it, it's like, okay, well, we took him down, we'll leave them alive and all that, we won't bother.
On some days, this would smell just dead.
But it's not like we become the new leader of the Dawnguard. It's one of the only factions we don't actually become the leader of after we,
Show yourself!
after we finish the storyline. Compared to the other factions in this game where we do become the leader. But anyways. Here, we actually do become the new, like, leader of this group of vampires, the new lord of the castle. Which, if in that case, what I would want to do is get rid of those two other guys who are, like, vying for the throne and be like, oh, really? You two want the throne? Well, too bad. And then I, like, have them be like, execute them!
Done and done. Who's there? Not very impressive.
Lots of death hounds. Oh no, it's a giant bear! You'll also probably notice, hey wait, there's supposed to be webs there. Yeah, one of the things that the mod does is it actually removes the webs. A floating skull.
Done and done.
Because they know that it's not just the spiders we don't want to see, it's also the webbing. At least I'm not someone who wants to see the webbing. Ugh. Ugh. So yeah, it tries to remove every kind of like reference to spiders and Chaurus and such. And of course, I'm not at all concerned about giant bears. So, hey, a giant bear instead of a giant spider. Cool!
Just head for the door.
So I was like, it's like, wait up! I'm trying to keep up so you can hear my lines of dialogue. Alright, so there's another bug I've encountered in this area.
What happened to this place? Everything's been torn down. The whole place looks, well, dead. It's like we're the first to set foot here in centuries. This used to lead into the castle's great hall. Looks like my father had it sealed up. I used to walk through here after evening meals. It was beautiful once. This was my mother's garden. Do you know how beautiful something can be when it's tended by a master for hundreds of years? She would have hated to see it like this. Wait. Something's wrong with the moon dial here. Some of the crests are missing and the dial is askew. I didn't even know the crests could be removed. Maybe my mother's trying to tell us something.
Alright, so let me see if they're all here or not. So, the bug that I have encountered in this section here... Oh my gosh, it's actually here. So, I've had times, and this has mainly been the Legendary Edition, I don't know what causes this, but there have been times where I've gotten to this point and I cannot find the Crescent Moon Crest because it just simply is not here. It doesn't spawn. So I actually have to resort to looking up the ID code for this item, and then, you know, which I guess, can I click on it? Yeah, so in this case, it would it be that one actually? Hold on. Actually, I don't think that's actually it. But sometimes that crest just simply will not spawn. So then I have to do the console command of player.add-item and then type in the ID code, which, remember, because it's a DLC, it's a little different. So if, let's say, the load order for that DLC is 02, then the ID would be 02011171D, and then you just tell it to add one of those into your inventory, and then you can put it there, and then you can actually continue with this quest. Otherwise, you're just kind of stuck here, you know? And it's just been like, wait, why isn't it spawning, you know?
Very clever, Mother. Very clever. I've never been in those tunnels before, but I'd bet they'd run right under the courtyard and into the tower ruins. Well, at least we're getting closer. Let's go. I've never even seen this part of the castle before. Be careful. I don't know what might be around. Here we go.
Oh my gosh, the undead! Skeletons!
That'll teach you.
Some sentinel you are.
That'll teach you. Wait. There.
Oh. That's right, Serana. Sneak up on him.
That'll teach you.
Nice.
Where'd you come from? That'll teach you. Stay on your guard.
Wrong way.
Yeah!
I really wish more books actually added more in terms of, you know, what they did. Or added more quests and such, but, you know. Just pretend that I'm bashing them with the claw. Like an actual shield.
Hang on. Did you hear something?
Yep, I do. No gargoyle or skeleton can stand up to the might of Frostmourne. This is one of those rooms where I'm like always like, oh yeah, that's right. There's like extra weapons and such in here if you want to get some extra loot. It's alright, Serana's got this. Remember, she's essential. Oh, wait, that's right. There's another gargoyle down there. Here we go. Alright, so let's grab what we need, which is, of course, let's see, where is it? There's the journal. The ground meal. The shards.
Look at this place. This has to be it. I knew she was deep into necromancy. I mean, she taught me everything I know. But I had no idea she had a setup like this. Look at all this. She must have spent years collecting these components. And what's this thing? I'm not sure about this circle, but it's obviously something. Let's take a look around. There has to be something here that tells us where she's gone.
Oh, I've already looked around. I already found what we need. Take a look.
You found her journal. Let me take a look at it.
So what's the soul cairn that she
I
mentions?
only know what she told me. She had a theory about soul gems, that the souls inside of them don't just vanish when they're used. They end up in the soul cairn.
Why did she care where used souls went?
The soul cairn is home to very powerful beings. Necromancers send them souls and receive powers of their own in return. My mother spent a lot of time trying to contact them directly, to travel to the soul cairn itself.
Well, if she made it there, we'll find her.
That circle in the center of the room is definitely some type of portal. If I'm reading this right, there's a formula here that should give us safe passage into the soul cairn.
What do we need?
A handful of soul gem shards, some finely ground bone meal, a good bit of purified void salts. Oh, damn it.
What's wrong?
We're also going to need a sample of her blood, which, if we could get that, we wouldn't even be trying to do this in the first place.
You share her blood.
Not bad. We'd better hope that's good enough. Mistakes with these kind of portals can be gruesome. Anyway, enough of that. Let's get started.
Well, I already found all the ingredients.
Oh, good. Well then, let's head over to the portal vessel and I'll do the rest.
Quick save. Now, if you recall, we had an issue trying to get in here because we weren't a vampire. That's not really going to be an issue this time.
Then the rest is up to me. Are you ready to go? I'm not entirely sure what this thing is going to do when I add my blood.
Can I ask you something first?
Of course. What is it?
What will you do when we find your mother?
I've been asking myself the same thing since we came back to the castle. She was so sure of what we did to my father. I couldn't help but go along with her. I never thought of the cost.
It sounds like she did everything for your sake.
Possibly. I guess even a vampire mother is still a mother. She worried about me, about all of us. But she wanted to get me as far away from my father as possible before he really went over the edge.
We won't know until we find her.
Yes, you're right. I'm sorry. I just didn't expect anyone to care how I felt about her. Thank you. Are we ready then?
Let's get that portal open.
All right, here goes. By the blood of my ancestors. She actually did it. Created a portal in Skyrim. Incredible.
You saw that the Infinity Stones mod also adds some pretty amusing loading screens as well. By the way, I think I didn't mention this, but when you side with the vampires after you defeat Harkin, you actually, I think...
The smell here. Let's try to handle this quickly.
Valerica to come back and actually be in the castle with the rest of the vampires. Just an extra little thing I noticed when it came to the differences in which ones you play as. The Soul Cairn. Hopefully we won't be here for too long, but there are a couple of interesting things that you can actually find here. One of which is a nice little Easter egg cameo from Morrowind. Another is an extra horse that you can get if you are not satisfied with either the regular one you have, or if you have gotten Shadowmere, or maybe you haven't gotten Shadowmere yet. But, you know, let's just say that I'm not as eager to get Arvak anymore now that I can have Shadowmere, Frost, as well as the 4 horses, the Apocalypse. But anyways. I actually don't remember where the guy from Morrowind is. I'll have to try and figure out where he is, so wish me luck. So I'm actually gonna go and cut it off here, and I'm gonna try and see if I can find him. When we come back, I will try to actually show him off to you guys, and we'll also try to find Valerica and see if we can free her from this place, but also try to get the Elder Scroll she has, as well as encounter a possible new friend for later. So stay tuned.